right, Sean Patel here with the father and trainer of David Benavidez, Jose Benavidez Sr. And Jose, man, well, let's take it back to all those sparring sessions they had. I think a lot of them were in Big Bear, David and Zurdo. How many rounds do you think they sparred total over the years?
Man, to be honest with you, I think they did over 100 sparring sessions. To be honest with you, I remember we spar for years, not in months. So they know each other very well. And back then it was great sparring. It was really good, and it's an honor to fight Zurdo Ramirez. And I want to thank him for the opportunity, for fighting for those 2 titles.
Yeah, what was it that ultimately made you guys want to make the move to cruiserweight instead of stick around 175?
Well, a lot of people are talking, that we didn't want to fight Bivol, Benavidez. We went to see him fight. We were trying to fight the winner or the loser, because at the end of the day, there's no loser there. Both of them are very dangerous fighters. Bivol decided to give the belt away to David. He didn't want to fight. Benavidez, they didn't want to get the fight. He didn't want to take the fight. So that's when Anthony Yard jumped in. So we decided to come to 175 to fight Zurdo. I think that's a great opportunity. Now Bivol and Benavidez want to fight David, so that's great. So we're going back to 175 as soon as we fight Zurdo, And those are the fights, I think that those 2 fights are very dangerous, but we're willing to take our chances and keep proving ourselves and giving the fans what they want to see.
I know you remember like when Roy Jones fought John Ruiz, and then he dropped back down to light heavyweight. It took a toll on his body. Do you think you guys will ever fight at 175 again?
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's what we're trying to do. We're going 175 after this fight, David, I don't think he's a natural cruiserweight. I think he's going to come right at 200, to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to gain a lot more pounds off of that. I think the bigger guy was going to be Zurdo Ramirez that night, But he doesn't have a problem fighting at 175, so we are going to go to 175, not a problem. Like I said, the plan is to fight better, be bold, and then see who the third fighter is, But we're thinking about coming back to 175 after the fight.
Jim Lampley, he always tells me he thinks David one day will be a heavyweight. Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I'm thinking maybe when he's 33, 34, somewhere around that, I think he's going to gain more weight, and I think, there's a big possibility. Why not jump to cruiserweight and heavyweight?
You think he could even have success against the best fighters at heavyweight, like
right now? I'm talking about 3-4 years. Right. Everything's going to change. I don't know.
Names.
Yeah, right now I don't know who's up there right now. The heavyweights right now, it's a division where everybody's going out, and we're seeing new people coming in. And in 4 or 5 years, everything's going to change. So I don't even know, So we're ready. We'll be ready in 4 or 5 years to make those decisions.
What do you said? You think Zurdo? You feel like this is the first time David's fighting a bigger man? As a pro?
For sure. This is the first time. Zurdo's been fighting in cruiserweight for a while already, and he has a couple of fights in there. So it's a tough fight. We're going against a Zurdo that has proven himself, to be really good. He has 2 titles. He was the champion at 168, now 175. And I think he was champion at 175 too, no?
I think he might have. I know he fought Bivol for the time. I know he was at 68.
Okay, but he's champion at cruiserweight anyway. It doesn't matter, and he only has 1 loss, and he's tough. He's tough. I think it's a very dangerous fight for us, and we're taking everything super serious. But at the end of the day, I think that David can't just win a fight. He has to look spectacular in order to keep proving himself and getting those big fights.
Out of all their sparring sessions, how much of it did David get the better of over the years?
To be honest with you, in my opinion, all the sparring that I saw, David did great all the time, But like I said, that sparring is totally different than stepping in the ring and fighting. So we're not going by that. We're training super hard. We're staying super focused. And David's super motivated. And at the end of the day, what we want to give the fans is some war. Ready to give the fans a great fight. And like I said, he can't just win a fight. He has to look spectacular in order to get the bigger fight.
Do you think David's speed will be too much for Ramirez?
I think David has a lot of speed for Zurdo Ramirez, and I think also he's getting stronger and stronger. He's now 29 years old, so I think he's getting more power now. He's sitting on his punches. He's using his mechanism a little bit more, and I think we're going to see an exciting fight. I can't wait. I'm super excited, and I think these are the fighters that we want to fight. We know that Zurdo Ramirez is a fighter that comes forward. David's a fighter that comes forward, so you guys are going to have fireworks on May 2nd, Cinco de Mayo weekend.
I know some fighters, when they fight around, they're walking around weight, they're more comfortable, they actually perform better. And what do you think your son's power and how he's going to operate at cruiserweight?
I think he's going to look fast. David's going to look fast. He's going to look with more power. And Zurdo Ramirez is going to push him to be the best that night.
Do you see this fight as for the real cruiserweight championship, or do you see Opetaia as what they call, the lineal champion?
Yeah, I would not. To be honest with you, Apataya, I think he gets hurt every fight he fights. He gets hurt with fighters that are not even known. I think he needs a little bit more experience, and I'm gonna say the same thing like David Morrell. Everybody said that he was the next big thing and that he was gonna make David look like an amateur, this and that. He doesn't have the experience that David has. I think he is going to be better in about 3-4 years more. I think he's lacking off experience a little bit more. Don't get me wrong, he's a good fighter. He is going to be a great fighter, but right now he doesn't have the experience that David has. I see Bivol and Zurdo Ramirez more dangerous than Apataya.
Do you see that fight maybe happening next? David and Opetaia?
Anything is possible. Like I said, I don't know if it's good or bad from going to where he is at, going to Zuffa, and now fighting in front of 1,000 and 200 people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the end of the day, you have to have two fighters that sell, in my opinion, I think, So I don't think no promoter is interested in him right now, like I said, our mind right now is Bivol, Benavidez, and Zurdo Ramirez. That's what we're thinking about. Later in the future, anything's possible. I think, I don't know how this is going to go now with him, with Zuffa, and the titles and all that. That complicates everything, At the end of the day, I don't know if they're going to strip him or what's going to happen, to be honest with you. So I don't see ourselves fighting for the Zuffa belt right now. So what are we going to fight for? Does it make sense? So I'm hoping that they don't strip him, all the guys from Zuffa, because they're just representing Zuffa, I think, in my opinion. But I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I'm just wondering what's going to happen,
Yeah.
Because they're only representing one belt, Zuffa, and Zuffa does not have the history and all that, to be named a title that other champions have fought. So I see it complicated, so you guys can understand. I don't know how that's going to go. So right now, our mind is Bivol, Benavidez, and Zurdo Ramirez. That's what's in our mind right now.
So you're thinking more win this fight, return to the light heavyweight division, then move on and fight Opetaia? That you're thinking more of that?
Like I said, John Opetaia, I'm going to put him to the side because he's with Zuffa right now, and I don't know how can we fight for the WBC or the WBA or whatever, I don't know what's happening there, Like I said, we're going down to 175. We're looking for Bivol, Benavidez, and those are the fighters that it's on the roster right now.
I know David, he has that picture with Dana White from when he was a teenager. Do you ever foresee...
Come on, Dana White has done a great thing with the UFC fighters, and he's done a great job, and he puts spectacular fights, so we like to see UFC fighting, so I think he's great at that. But right now they're doing something new. At the end of the day, it's a good thing for boxing. I think, I don't even know what to tell you about that. Like I said, as long as we have more promoters and fighters have more opportunities, that's good.
What do you think of, because I think, really PBC wanted tonight's fight, Garcia Barrios, they wanted it to be an Amazon Prime fight, but since De La Hoya had the bigger star in Garcia, he wound up giving the fight to Turkey in the ring. But PBC is deciding to do this fight because David's the A side on Prime, solo basically, without.
Yeah, well, those are big things. I manage David's career, and I also train David. The promotion company and all that, I really don't know. I respect what they do, and they're trying to do their best that they can. So I don't really know, because I'm not a promoter or none of that. Like I said, we're happy to fight. We're happy to give the fans what they want to see. Great fights, good fights, and that's all we care.
You don't concern yourself with these things.
No,
you let that take care of itself.
Because I'll be talking about something that I don't know.
I understand.
So, and I respect whatever everybody's doing, and I wish everybody the best, and let's make it happen. Let's have more promoters. Let's give opportunities to more fighters.
Do you see, last one, this Opetaia stuff, do you see Zurdo as a more difficult fighter than Opetaia?
Of course, like I said, I'm going to give the respect to Zurdo Ramirez, because he's a two-time world champion. He was a champion at 168 also. We've known Zurdo Ramirez for a long time. He's been on the on those big cards, you know. Apataya just came and you know, it's like what he wants, you know. I want this, I want that, you know. He's mad because Zurdo didn't fight him. He's mad because we're not fighting him. You know, shit, at one point we were like that. We wanted to fight everybody, but it just takes time, you know. You gotta really, for example, you know, I'm gonna ask the viewers, would you rather see David fight Zurdo or Apataya? If you ask a Mexican fighter, they don't know who Opetaia is. You know, he still needs to develop a little bit more and grow his fan base. Does it make sense? So if we were fighting Opetaia, people would be complaining. We're fighting nobody, about somebody that is not known. The boxing world knows who he is, you know, because at the end of the day, for Mexicans, the Mexicans know Apataya. So what do you think is a better fight, Apataya or Zurdo? Of course it's going to be Zurdo, you know, because Zurdo's a Mexican fighter, and he's been in the game for more time.
Does David stop Zurdo Ramirez on single
That's a plan. That's a plan. I think my thing. I think he's going to stop him like in the 9-10, and that's a plan. Like I said, we have to look at spectacular in order to go to the bigger fighter.
And lastly, too, I got to ask you about Floyd Mayweather announcing he'll be returning for real after this Mike Tyson exhibition. What do you think about that, Jose?
I heard about that too. It's good, man. Like I said, we need more shows. We need more. If Floyd fights, there's going to be undercards in there with good fighters. So that's what we need. At the end of the day, we need a fighter like that in order for other fighters to have opportunities, you know. So it's a great thing. It's a great thing. Come on, you know, fight. I heard that he's fighting. Who is he fighting?
Mike Tyson.
Mike
in
Tyson.
An exhibition. You know,
that's great. That's great. You know, at the end of the day, you know, why not?
Is he gonna lose his O in this comeback
I
by
don't
coming
know.
back at
like
his
I
age?
say, you know, both of them are retired fighters, you know, and they're coming for next division. It's a great thing. To me, it's a great thing for boxing.
I know you thought Crawford, Canelo would be able to beat Crawford. And
I was 100% that Canelo was going to stop Crawford.
Yeah.
But look what happened.
Do you now see Crawford as that Mayweather type of fighter, or still?
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, he's done things that, you know, people didn't think that he was going to do. Even me, including myself. You know, he deserves all the credit in the world.
Hey, thanks, Jose. Good catching up with you, man.